Welcome to Dodgers Daily as part of welcome to Dodgers Dogs, I should say, as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Casey Porter here, so glad that you decided to tune in. Wanted to get a quick show in on a Sunday morning because this is a huge series with the Padres, a series that just simply has not been good at all for the Dodgers. I know we're going to have a lot of comments about the offense, and I'm going to say this right off the bat, okay? I am still super optimistic about this season. Maybe it's just the way that I look at things in the sense that I just don't ever just spend a whole lot of time dwelling on negativity. I spent enough time in the past on the negative aspects of things to figure out what we need to fix to move forward so we don't make the same mistakes over and over. So you do have to cover that part. But I say that to say, still I think the Dodgers are going to get Ha-Seong Kim back. They're going to get Kike back. They're going to get Max Muncy back. We haven't seen the reinforcements of Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates yet because the Dodgers offense has been so pitiful. They have not been in a position to have a lead or even be close enough to use like a Tanner Scott. So I'm going to say right off the bat, I still am very optimistic about what this Dodgers team can do this year. And I'm going to make this statement very clear. If the Dodgers make it through this patch, which there are certainly no guarantees, this Dodgers club can continue to play pitiful offense and finish this year with a whimper and just kind of go away and look for 2026. That, I don't want to say easily, but that certainly could happen. You've got Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. You got a lot of people with a lot of pride, though. I would be surprised if this Dodgers offense doesn't figure out something. Now, to what level, to what extent, who knows? And who knows if whatever extent this offense figures out what it can be or starts playing better, if that's actually good enough to beat the Brewers, the Mets, the Padres, or the Phillies. And here I was talking all this shit last weekend about Mike Shildt being a tough guy, a fake tough guy, and the Dodgers being in the Padres' head, which I think they were to an extent. But I got to give credit, guys. I mean, and gals out there, you wonderful Dodgers dogs. I have got to give it up to A.J. Preller. He has been aggressive, and what he's done too is and the big names like we've talked about with Juan Soto, is he'll give up a bunch of prospects to get Soto. Then on the back end, he'll trade Soto away for a bunch of great prospects back. So in the end, he got to basically rent Juan Soto, but yet still not just absolutely bury the farm. And so I got to give A.J. Preller credit. He's been aggressive over the last couple of years, building a roster for the Padres that can compete, yes, with the Dodgers, the most expensive roster in baseball. Then he absolutely went and did it at the trade deadline. You get Mason Miller, you get Ramon Laureano, Freddie Fermin. So what you've seen right now is one team that went aggressive at the trade deadline and another team that didn't. And so far, squarely. Now, this doesn't mean that the season won't end like this, and I'm going back and forth. I don't think anybody's been more vocal about the fact that it was frustrating to see the Dodgers were just kind of stale at the trade deadline, and they didn't really do anything to get the team out of it. You know, part of the trade deadline is more so than just a results type thing. It's also that you infuse new fun energy, different people, and it kind of wakes you up a little bit. It's like a shot of espresso, if you will, in the morning that you kind of get with some new guys and some new skills and some new talent. So the Dodgers were just kind of trudging along, and the most frustrating part of it to me is that you didn't get that shot of steroids, if you will, by adding a new skill set or by adding a new mentality or a new personality or just a new set of circumstances and excitement around your organization. So you've seen one team go all in the Padres and go get all these guys at the trade deadline, and you've seen one team bet on what they have, not create any new excitement. And I think squarely at this point, although the Dodgers did sweep the Padres last week, the Padres have made up a lot of games on the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers had a 9-game lead on July 3rd. At this point, I don't even think you can debate it that the Padres' philosophy of being aggressive has won so far. Now, that doesn't mean it will continue to be that way. And here's another positive aspect of this that I'm going to choose to dwell on here. If the Dodgers win today, They leave San Diego having won 4 out of the last 6 games in the last 2 weekends, which is great because then you leave tied with first place. Actually, you're in first place because you have the tiebreaker over the Padres and you have reinforcements coming. You have Max Muncy, you have Hyesung Kim, you've got Kike Hernandez, you got Tanner Scott, you got Kirby Yates, maybe Michael Kopech. So you've got all sorts of reinforcements coming, and you're already in a situation to where you're in first place. You won 4 out of 6 from the Padres in the last 2 weekends. And so kind of that shot of adrenaline I was talking about that you get by adding new people to the trade deadline, the Dodgers still have that coming if they just can stay somewhere within shouting distance of first place. So it's never as bad as it seems in this game. I mean, just as about the time that you think everything is getting ready to go to hell in a handbasket in this game, you pop out and you have a good day or you have a good game or something happens, you get that little Texas leaguer or a blue pit, and all of a sudden now you start feeling good about yourself. That could happen. So just about the time you think everything's going to hell in a handbasket, things can turn around fast, and just about the time you think you have everything figured out, that's when things can go to hell in a handbasket. Hey, I'm not saying the Dodgers are going to get through this. Nobody knows. Time will tell, the old saying says. But I'm saying that they still have all the pieces they need. It's still right there in front of them. And I'm going to put this very clear. The Dodgers went out and signed Yoshinobu Yamamoto to one of the most expensive contracts in the history of baseball when you add in the length and the money and everything else. Why did they do that? They did that for today, Sunday, August 24th. The Dodgers are reeling. This team, point blank right now, this team sucks right now. They're not fun to watch. They look old. They look tired. They look lethargic. They look like they're just in the dog days of summer, and it's like a cycle that they can't get out of. And so Yoshinobu Yamamoto today needs to go out and do exactly what the Dodgers gave him that gigantic contract for, and that is just be so good on the mound that it doesn't matter how bad the offense is. All the Dodgers have to do is score a couple of runs, and they will win this game. So Blake Snell was good. Great, actually. Tyler Glasnow was good, but they weren't perfect. And I'm not gonna sit here and say the Dodgers have lost the last 2 games because of the pitching. That's certainly not the case. So please don't take this for that. But I will say on Friday it was the leadoff walk to Fernando Tatis Jr. that led to a rally. Last night it was the walk to Manny Machado that got the Padres rally started. So Blake Snell and Glasnow had to be pretty much perfect. They weren't able to do that. Again, hey, the link to the show is in. Let me put that in there one more time. Here is the link. If you want to join the show and give your thoughts, I would love to talk to you on the show. So there's the link on TikTok. There is the link on YouTube. And man, what a great crowd we have logged in. So he needs to go out and do exactly what the Dodgers gave him that contract to do, and that's go out and be the stopper. Now, what does it mean to be a stopper? Does that mean you need to be good? No. Does that mean you need to be great? No. It could mean anything. It could mean, what it means is whatever you have to do from a pitching performance to get your team across the finish line with a victory, that's what you have to do. That's what Yoshinobu Yamamoto is tasked with today. If the Dodgers offense don't score crap, then he needs to not give up crap to the Padres. Not anything. Not just be good or even great and then still walk Fernando Tatis Jr. or Manny Machado. He has to match long enough for this Dodgers offense to get their shit together and figure out a way to score a couple of runs or whatever they need to do to win this game. That's what I'm expecting out of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That is what he is paid to do. So that's where we're at. Huge game today. I mean, literally, it's 1 of 162. Not today. Not this game. This game is too big. So it's either you're down 2, okay, and you're reeling and you feel like crap about everything that's going on, and you're actually getting closer to not even making the playoffs, or you win the game and actually you're in first place and Yamamoto got things settled down, and you can kind of look at it like, well, the pitching, if everything goes like it should and everybody pitches their capabilities, we have the pitching staff to win a World Series. Today is a huge game. I will never use the term must win, because the problem is if you say must win, then what happens if you don't? But I will say this is a huge, huge, huge game for the Dodgers. A couple of requests, okay? Yes, Alex Freeland, of course, I typed out yesterday on my social medias that the Dodgers put out the best lineup that they could have. I was wrong, okay? Buddy Kennedy, out. See ya. Bye. Okay? I don't know why the Dodgers go out and get the Kevin Biggios anyways. Okay? I mean, I appreciate what Kennedy did defensively on Friday, but you got to have better offense. And when Alex Freeland hits his first home run of his major league career, he has said himself he's feeling more confident. There is no such thing as maintenance days right now. What you're in right now is you're in a sprint. You're not in a marathon. There's no such thing that Alex Freeland needs a freaking day off, okay? And I'm not saying he would have been the difference last night, because, to be honest with you, even though Alex Freeland got the pinch hit, base hit, until Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Will Smith, Teo Hernandez, until those guys start hitting, it's great that Alex Freeland's hitting home runs. But if he's the only one hitting, then you're probably not going to win anyways. So regardless of whether Alex Freeland would have played third base yesterday and gotten 4 at-bats instead of the 1, the Dodgers probably don't win that game anyway, so I don't think it matters. This is a bigger problem than just saying, hey, Alex Freeland should have played over Buddy Kennedy, and it's not even close. But having said that, okay, you got to start putting your best players on the field every damn day, okay? This is getting very old, where Alex Call can almost hit for the cycle and then not even play the next day. And because of you artificially stopped his momentum by not putting him in the lineup, now he's back to just kind of being the Alex Call he was before the big day. I mean, Alex Call has not been good since he came to the Dodgers. He had the one good game. You had a chance to catch lightning in a bottle and let him just kind of ride that wave, and you stopped the wave. Instead, you put up a dam, and he said, nope, Alex Call has momentum. We're going to go ahead and stop that because we just think that analytics are that important. And because of that, you had a guy that actually was hitting the ball. You stop his momentum. You have Alex Freeland, who has some momentum. You stop his momentum. Put your best player. Okay, you go and sign Buddy Kennedy. That doesn't mean you have to play him. Okay? That doesn't mean you have to put him in the lineup just because you put him on the 26-man roster. Sit his ass down if there is a guy that is playing better at that moment, that's actually hitting the ball. There's just absolutely no defense for not playing Alex Freeland yesterday over Buddy Kennedy. None whatsoever. This is a sprint. This is not a marathon. And the Dodgers are giving away, they're not giving away games, but they are not putting the best lineup on the field in a part of the season to where it is a sprint. And I'm going to say this again, even if they did put out the best lineup last night, day after day after day, that's still not going to be the determining factor. The determining factor is if your big three, Will Smith, Teo, can get their crap together and start hitting the ball they're capable of, if you can get Max Muncy healthy, reinsert Tommy Edman, Hyun-Soo Kim, and Kike Hernandez into this lineup and start playing better. That's the overall key. But in the meantime, while you're trying to survive, you got to play the game of whack-a-mole of who's hot and who's not. You got to play that game. And whoever is hot, that's who goes in the lineup. And whoever is not, which certainly is not Buddy Kennedy, then they don't. I'm not trying to dog Buddy Kennedy. I don't even know the guy. He is about the biggest transaction that you could ever make for the Dodgers. So if he's hitting well, I want his ass in the lineup. If he's not hitting well, I want his ass on the bench. And I want somebody else in the lineup who is hitting well. That's the transactional part of going out and getting a guy that had just been DFA'd, a guy that you are going to DFA yourself here in about 3 or 4 days. If he's hitting, put him in the lineup. If somebody else is hitting, put him on the bench. It's literally that simple for me. So although the lineup was better last night, Alex Freeland should have been in it. And although Alex Freeland was not in it, that's still not the reason why the Dodgers aren't winning. The reason why the Dodgers aren't winning is just because the entire offense looks old, it looks tired, it looks lethargic. And if you don't like that, then sorry, those are the facts. Prove me wrong, okay? And I know that, and you guys know I'm a player's advocate. I root for these players. I get close with them. That's fine, okay? So if they got a problem with something like that, I just think those are facts. That's how it looks. And here's what my response to, if anybody wanted to get upset with that comment, is, hey, I get it. The players are likely the most frustrated set of people on earth about the way this team is playing. I get it that Dave Roberts is probably the most frustrated more frustrated than any of us. But my response to that is, yeah, but man, you guys are the only ones that can do anything about this crap. You guys are the ones that can actually go out and hit the ball and field the ball and pitch the ball, put in the right lineup, make the right decisions, have the right type of pep talks or whatever it takes to get your team to play. I can't do anything about it. All I can do is sit here and piss and moan and be frustrated and watch the lethargic offense. So yes, maybe the players the players are probably the most frustrated, but they're also the only human beings on earth that can do something about this. And all we want, all of us Dodgers dogs, whether we have a difference of opinion, which we do quite a bit, which is awesome, okay? Regardless of where you stand on this team, all anybody wants of this team is for this team to start playing to its capabilities at some point. And the Dodgers fans gave this team a long ass rope. I mean, this is going back to the beginning of July. I just don't want to hear this crap about this or that. Dodgers fans have been great with this team. The Dodgers fans gave this team more rope than it probably deserved when you look at the payroll in terms of, okay, well, there's injuries. Okay, well, it's a short patch. Okay, well, it's this. Okay. No. This is, at this point, you have to say this is what this team is. Dodgers fans expect more, and they should. Okay? And again, the players are the only ones that can do something about this. So this team is underachieving, and when you're underachieving and you choose to put the Dodger blue on, then expect people not to be happy about it. And if you don't like that, then go out and do something about it, because again, as a player, you're the only one that can do that. We are stuck here as fans just having to watch this and be helpless. We tried to give Mookie Betts a standing ovation. We've tried to be patient. We've tried to hold this team to a certain standard. There's nothing that we can do as fans. It's up to the players. It's up to Dave. It's up to everybody in that dugout who's working their ass off. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. I'm just simply saying it's up to them whether they want to, if they want to start playing better and reach the goals that they have. So put your best lineup out there. Let the chips fall where they may. Play the who's hot and who's not, until everybody starts playing offensive baseball the way that they need to. Yamamoto needs to be the starter. Today's game is a huge, huge game. I mean, literally, you could look back on today's game. Wow, what a crowd we have logged in today. You could look back at today's game, and it easily could be the determining factor between winning the division and really just fighting your ass off just to make the playoffs. Yes, maybe that sounds a little bit too dramatic, but okay. You lost 2 games to Colorado. Now, Colorado actually has been a better team than the Dodgers in about the last month. Try that one on for size. That just goes to show you what this team has been. So, yes, maybe that's a little bit overly dramatic, but it's actually not, because it's actually based on how this team is playing. This team right now, to me, is closer to not making the playoffs than it is to being the best team in the National League. Prove me wrong on that. I'm going to say that one more time. This team right now is closer to not making the playoffs than it is to being the best team in the National League. Again, I'm going to say this one more time. Things are never as bad as they seem when they're down. When you're down, they're never as good as they seem when you're up. And things can snap like that, Yoshinobu Yamamoto could go out there and shove today. The Dodgers could go score 7 or 8 runs. They could find something that clicks, and this roster can go on a run like we've seen them do in the past, okay? And we look back at this period and go, this period helped us because we had to learn how to deal with adversity, and so-and-so and so-and-so had to figure this out, and it was all part of the process. That could happen, okay? And I certainly hope it does. I think today could go a long way in seeing if that actually does happen. Hey, Vicho80 on TikTok. They just have no fight, no desire. They're contempt on being a little bit above average. I wouldn't go that far. I would say the way that I put that same statement, same sentiment, is I say this is a team that looks old. This is a team that looks lethargic because they look tired, okay? I would make that same statement with that same sentiment with that comment there. To hit like they have for 7 weeks is inexcusable, but a real time tonight this. I'm not exact, Max. I got the first part of that, Max. You might retype that. I wasn't exactly able to read exactly what you were trying to say there. Hey, Nate, thank you so much for joining on the TikTok side. Going to be tough against Pivetta at Petco. Yeah, now you're facing the Padres' best starter. I don't care. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You have the ability to put zeros on the board for however long you have to put them on the board until the offense can figure out how to get its shit together. So Nick Pivetta is awesome. Congratulations to Mike Schilt. I owe you a massive apology for calling you a fake tough guy, for saying they didn't have this, they didn't have that. I owe him a massive apology, okay? He has thrown that egg right back in my face times over, okay? And what's happened the last 2 weekends, the Dodgers just went out and kicked the Padres' ass last weekend, just made it look like business. This weekend, the Padres were able to get over all that big hype, and they've just played baseball. They've just kind of, okay, well, it's just another game. It's another team. We beat the Dodgers ho-hum. And that's why I think they've been able to relax and play the way that they're capable of. So, yes, Nate, it's going to be super tough to beat Pivetta. The way that you beat Pivetta is Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes and does what he's paid to do, and that's blank the Padres until the Dodgers can figure out a way to score enough runs to win the game today. Wow, what a crowd we have logged in. Want to remind you, the link to the show is in the chat right now. Let me actually put it back in right here. If you want to join the show, just hit this link here, and I will log you into the show, and I would love to talk to you. Beyond that, let's get into some of the wonderful comments from our Dodgers dogs. Wow, what a crowd. I just put this together. Sunday morning, Mark went to Rancho, and he got all this video. It got me going. I just had so many thoughts swirling around in my head. I don't want to be overly negative, but I also want to give the Dodgers fans and myself, to be honest with you, a forum to bitch and moan and to kind of move on and get our venom out before we attack this game here in a couple of hours. Of course, it doesn't matter what we think. We just mentioned that. But still, I just kind of wanted to get my head cleared before we get this game on today, because today is absolutely huge. Craig, good afternoon. Daniel, wherever you're at, it might be good morning or it might be good afternoon. It is good afternoon where I am at. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight, thank you so much for joining. Haven't seen you in a while. We have missed you, Daniel Berry Sports Highlight. Thanks for coming back to the show. Al of Minerva, Ela Shiva Jones, Chuck Huddleston, how are you? Michael Carrillo, you haven't been around in a while. Welcome back into Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. We have missed you, Michael. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Michael says this offense is killing our ability to win, no doubt. Ryan R., thank you for joining the show today. I love Ohtani, but man, we want him to just look for a base hit rather than a long ball every time. Yeah, man, ding. Okay, and Coach Holt and I have hit on this a million different times. It's a weird deal because Ohtani has been the best player in the game, and you're sitting here criticizing him, and you look like a dumbass because if somebody goes, what are you talking about, dumbass? He's the best player in the game. And you're like, yeah, I can't argue against that. So I'm like, when I say that, I'm talking about myself and Coach Holt. Trust. I hope you got that part of it. I wasn't calling anybody else a dumb. I mean, whenever I say that, whenever Coach Holt, when we said that in the past, that's what I meant by that. I hope you got that part of it. And so, like, when somebody pushes back against us and they're like, dude, he's the best player in the game. What the hell are you talking about? Shut the hell up. I'm like, yeah, he is. So it's very hard to criticize Ohtani. But I'm going to say it point blank, man. The Dodgers need him not to try to hit home runs. They need him not pulling off the ball. They need him concentrated on left center, hitting line drives. And if those line drives leave the yard, so be it. Because even if he doesn't hit a home run, okay, then he can steal a base. And so it could end up in a double anyways. And I'm going to say this again. Yes, a home run is a one guaranteed run, but it's also a rally killer. It's also hard to score and regenerate a rally after you hit a home run. So if you hit a solo home run, you're going to score one run most of the time because it's hard to regenerate a rally after that. So thank you so much for your wonderful comment, Ryan R. Michael Carrillo, I don't like how the guys are going through these games and not adjusting to the pitchers when their in-game strategy isn't working. Michael, ding, 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 ding. This is why Dodgers Dogs is the most intelligent chat on earth. This has been going on for 10 years now. The Dodgers have a philosophy. They have a game plan. And if it works, it's like a football coach. You put together a couple sets of packages for what you've seen the defense does on film. And if it works, then great. You're going to have a great day. If it doesn't, then you don't have anything to pivot to. This has been the biggest complaint I probably have had with this offense, is that they have a certain swing type. They have a certain philosophy where they're trying to grind the pitcher. They're trying to be patient, this and that, other than a couple of hitters. And then if that philosophy isn't working that day, they don't ever pivot, or they pivot too slow. Michael Carrillo, that is a elite observation, because that, to me, has been the biggest holdback to this Dodgers offense, is that on the days where they show up and the game plan is not working, they don't adjust. And this has been a problem for several years on end. I don't think it has anything to do with Dave Roberts. I think it's an organizational philosophy, and I don't think it has anything to do with the hitting coaches. I just think it's an organizational philosophy that has beat into these guys to the point to where, hey, this is what we're going to do. And over 162 games, we're not going to change, and the odds are going to win out in our favor, and they do. But in short segments, then that's where, in the games where the margins matter, that's where you see the lack of adjustments. But over a long haul, those lack of adjustments actually work to the Dodgers' benefit, because then you're not always changing. Then you actually are able to play the odds, and the odds end up in your favor over a long sample size. So that comment, I would say, is very accurate to the smaller sample sizes, and those are the small sample sizes and the tight games, the games that you win on margins, that really get frustrating as a fan. Al Minerva, thank you so much for joining. If we get swept, we're not going to hear the end of it. No doubt. Let's not do that. No Name says the offense is a joke. Okay. And yes, it is, especially considering what it should be. So let's get it fixed. Let's go on. Hey, the Dodgers are 0-1 right now. And what I say when I say that, what I mean is they're one game behind the Padres. And if they win today, they actually are in the lead. So you're 0-1. That's the record to your season right now. Nothing that's happened in the past matters, other than you need to visit it long enough to make sure you don't continue to make the mistakes that are causing you to lose games. Beyond that, nothing that's happened in the past matters. The only thing that matters is that you're 0-1 at this point, and that you need to continue. They're not continuing. You need to figure out how to play to your potential moving forward. Hey, Michael Carrillo says you need to change your strategy when your game plan's not working. We just talked about that. Elisheva Jones, who is always just wonderfully positive, and I always have so much respect for the positivity that Elisheva brings. Always, Alex Freeland has a hot bat. Yes, put him in the lineup. Michael Carrillo, the definition of insanity is doing nothing and expecting different results, or Yeah, doing the same thing over and over. Hey, Ryan R. says, Glasnow got squeezed many times, but he keeps on nibbling around the edges. I can't blame the umpire on borderline pitches. And even if the umpire is bad, this is what I always tell my kids, I will stick up for you with the umpire. Let me do the umpiring. You never umpire. Let the adults do that. But what I would tell the kids is, okay, the umpire's bad. We can't control that. The only thing that you should be concerned about is what you can control. And typically speaking, there's somewhere in there, like in an at-bat, let's say an umpire makes a bad strike 3 call. I'll bet there is at least one pitch in that at-bat that you should have hit yourself. So even if the umpire is taking something away from you and the umpire is bad, it doesn't matter because you can't use that excuse because you don't have control over that. So you can only control what you can control. So if you're Tyler Glasnow, like Ryan R. is saying, Ryan R., what elite comments you're bringing your A game today with. If the umpire is squeezing you, then bring the damn ball over, okay? Don't sit there and get pissed at the umpire, even if he sucks, okay? Because if you do that, you're not helping your team. Nibbling at the corners and having the umpire call balls and then coming in the dugout and bitching and moaning about the umpire, what good does that do the Dodgers? What good does that do the rest of your team? What you actually need to do is go, you know what, this umpire sucks, but it is what it is. I can't control that. He is the umpire. He is the one in charge of calling balls and strikes. So I need to figure out a way to make him happy. That's what you have to do. That's how you overcome. So that is a great comment, Ryan R. If you can't tell, yes, happy birthday to Alex Freeland. Thank you for that comment. If you can't tell, I'm pretty fired up today, which I get that way sometimes, but it's more of a kind of a just definitely not a negative fired up. It's more of a just kind of a can't wait to get the game going. I'm tired of feeling like this. Let's freaking go. That type of fired up. So just absolutely ready to go. No name, we are going to cover Charles Davalon on or down the farm. Mark Watkins went to the game last night. He got some great video of Davalon from the dugout. So no name, you are going to love this down the farm because we're going to talk a lot of Charles Davalon in the down the farm. We're going to talk some Emil Morales. We're going to talk Bobby Miller. We're going to talk Yesung Kim. We're going to talk Chris Newell. We're going to talk Zaire Hope. We've got a great down the farm scheduled for you today, and what a crowd we have logged in. Thank you so much for joining Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Michael Carrillo, well, we swept the Padres, which is 3 games, and that is, we haven't won 4 games in a row in years. Thoughts on Charles Davalon? We're going to get to him here in just a minute. Michael Carrillo, but we haven't won more than 4 in a row since the beginning of the year. Wow, that's quite a crazy stat there. Hey, Elishima Jones, why not try AAA Dodgers Ward in left field? I couldn't hurt. Dodgers could make a move for him to be on the 40-man. Yes, they could. They have chosen not to. I've got nothing for you, Elishima. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, other than the fact, here's what I think might be happening is that maybe Ryan Ward has requested not to get on the 40-man, because if the Dodgers do put Ryan Ward on the 40, hey, this is tinfoil stuff. This is what I'm hoping happens to Ryan Ward. I have nothing inside this, and I'm probably dead wrong, but this is my tinfoil thoughts on that. If Ryan Ward requests not to be put on, if Ryan Ward gets put on the 40-man, what's going to happen is the Dodgers are going to go get an outfielder in the offseason, and he's going to be stuck on the 40-man in Oklahoma City for the next 3 years. Okay, 3 years. So if the Dodgers put Ryan Ward on the 40-man, he then has 3 option years where he can be kept in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, who Ryan Ward's already the Bricktown leader in home runs and RBIs. Okay, he can be kept in Oklahoma City for 3 more years. So if you're Ryan Ward and you go to the organization and you say, hey, do not put me on the 40-man. I don't want to be on the 40-man. I don't want my 3 option years. I don't want to spend 3 more years in Oklahoma City. Instead, at the end of this year, I am going to be a free agent, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go play in Asia somewhere for about $1 million a year. So I think there's a good chance there's been a conversation that Ryan Ward doesn't even want to be on the 40-man, because even if he gets a cup of coffee for the Dodgers at the end of this year, he's going to have to spend 3 more years in Oklahoma City instead of playing in Korea for $1 million or whatever he would play for in Korea. I think that's a real possibility. And to be honest with you, Almost always I put the team first, but I'm rooting for that to happen to Ryan Ward. I don't want him to get put on the 40-man. I want him to become a free agent, and I want him to go sign in the KBO and go make his bank. That's what I want to see for Ryan Ward. Call me a traitor to the team or whatever. It's been too hard watching Ryan Ward get put in a vice like this, and so I'm rooting for that situation at this moment. Anthony DeSantis, hey, thank you so much for joining the show. No energy at the deadline, but it was really tough to watch all those uppercut swings for the fences yesterday. Do not get me started on the upward plane swings of this modern generation. It just absolutely drives me completely insane. It's a swing that's so easy to beat. And anyway, yeah, that's a topic for another day, but it is what it is. I'm worried about Muncie with the oblique. I am too. Obliques, I learned this from Ryan Pepio and Cody Hosey. They're just too unpredictable. Not even the best doctors in the world can they really predict how healthy you're going to be, and then nobody can predict, even if you can play, how much is it actually going to affect you, because every human being in every different situation is different. So I don't think there's any way you can't worry about the oblique from Muncie. Matty Man 5 Dodge, we have missed you. Where have you been, my man? You have not been on the show in a while, and thank you so much for joining. I hope, Matty Man 5 Dodge, that you keep coming back. Michael as well, and some of the other people that have joined the lobby today. I hope you continue to keep coming back to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Hey, man, we keep it real here. We love to talk both on the good and the bad. We love to have our differences of opinions. We love to do all of that. But most of all, we love to share Dodgers baseball together. And I am so thankful that you guys are all in the chat today. So thank you so much for joining Matty Man 5 Dodge. Dodgers got to have a lead for Tanner Scott to even matter. That is correct. They have not been able to even get the bump from Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates coming back to this roster, because they haven't been in position for them to matter, because they have not been ahead in the games. Hey, Maze Johnny, thank you so much for joining. I actually do not recognize that handle, so thank you so much for joining if this is the first time to join the show. Kike and Edmonds has been horrible this year, and you're counting on them. Well, Kike, this is Kike's time of year, okay? Kike is never good in the regular season. So my pushback to that would be, this from here on, this part of the season, this is the only reason you signed Kike Hernandez, because this is the time of year in crunch time where he comes through. As far as Tommy Edman has had a year full of injuries. He was wonderful down the stretch last year. So I think if Tommy Edman is fully healthy, then even if he's not great, his ability to play center field and play different positions and add just another bat-to-ball guy, a guy that can create speed, I think that changes the dynamics of this Dodgers offense possibly substantially, just by the profile that he brings this club. So I would say yes, Maze Johnny, and those would be the reasons why. Thank you so much for joining. Eric Flores, they were injured. Yeah, that's what we're talking. We're expecting them to be better than what we got now. That's another point too. It would have to be better, right? We can't have this offense. We can't, because we can't beat bad pitchers, says No Name. Eric Flores, well, Pavetta is pretty good, so maybe they'll beat him. Let's hope there. Anthony DeSantis, thanks, Casey, for calling it straight. That is exactly how it looks. It's tough to watch, yes. Hey, Michael Correa, holding teams under 3 runs isn't a reasonable means of winning. It is not, but it can be a short-term Band-Aid, Michael, until everything else gets figured out. So definitely not asking the Dodgers pitching to be perfect, but while you're not hitting, if the Dodgers want to win games, they might have to be, at least for the next couple of weeks, until this offense can get healthy and actually start scoring 6 and 7 runs a game. But you are exactly right. In terms of an overall philosophy, a long run perspective, that is exactly right. Hey, 808 Shizaw, exactly. Yamamoto is paid to be in situations like this. Yes, he's paid to be the closer. Matty Man 5 says, just win, baby. That's where I'm at. Just win the damn game today. Let's go back into first place, and then let's start putting all the pieces back together. That is a great point. Alvin Urban, still championships, your Los Angeles Dodgers. Doubt at your own expense. Yep, that's exactly right, Alvin Minerva. Bet against Mookie Betts. Bet against Freddie Freeman. That's where my optimism is still coming from. If you notice my optimism at the beginning of the show, my fired upness isn't wallowing in negativity at this point. Hey, Dragonfire LA on the TikTok side, looks like soft-throwing lefties give them trouble, as they have almost everybody forever. Teoscar needs to sit down. What do y'all think about Teo Hernandez? This goes back to about July. You can ask Coach Barakoff. I text, or everybody, we have a group text for all the dogs. I said about a month ago, I sent a text, Teo's pissing me off. I don't know if he's hurt or what, but his energy just looks off. I sent that text. That was a month ago. So that's the bandwagon I've been on with Teo. What do you guys think about Teo? Those are my honest thoughts there. And hey, if Teo sees this, he doesn't even know who I am. He doesn't know about Dodgers dogs, nor should he care. But if he does see this, if I had him on the show, I would say the same thing. Is this a fair comment to say your energy's been off? And if you don't like people having that perception of you, let me explain something. Perception is reality. Whether it's true or not, when people go, oh, I misunderstood this or that, it doesn't matter. Because the only thing, I'm never going to get to know Teo Hernandez. You're never going to get to know Teo Hernandez. The only thing you're ever going to have of Teo Hernandez is your perception of him. And so, whether you like it or not, the way people perceive you is their reality of what and who you are, okay? So if you don't like the perception that people are having of the way that you're playing, too bad. Even if you disagree with it, it doesn't matter. That's what people think. That's their perception. And if you don't like people having that perception of you, then change it. Fix it. If you choose not to fix it, then deal with the way people are perceiving of you. That would be the comment that I would make there. It is time to have the real tough conversations. It's time to quit cheerleading. It is time to take the accountability to a different level and explain to people, I don't get if you care if you get your feelings hurt. My job isn't to make sure you don't get your feelings hurt. My job is to hold your ass accountable so this team can have the best chance it possibly can to win a game. Okay? Part of that that's what part of being a fan is that, hey man, I'm not just going to sit here and cheerlead your ass whenever you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Part of being a fan, of course, being a great, well-respected fan like we try to be here at Dodgers Dogs, but part of being a great fan, an elite fan, a passionate fan is holding the organization, players, Dave Roberts, accountable at the times where they need to be held accountable, just like everything else. And I think that's what we're doing here in Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Data Network. And very well. I think everything that is being said in the chat, everything I'm saying is 1,000% fair, and it's all part of being a fan. Because again, we can't do anything about this. We can't. The only people that can do something about this are the players. Okay? And totally agree, Alvin. But having said that, I go back to say, go ahead and bet against Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Go ahead and bet against them. And as Al Minerva is saying here, bet against them at your own risk because these guys are champions. They're winners. They won the World Series last year. Dave Roberts, whether you want to believe this or not, he is a champion. Okay, he's going to be a Hall of Fame manager. This guy's a winner. Okay, bet against him if you want. Bet at your own risk. And I love that comment, Al Minerva. Michael Carrillo, Buddy Kennedy, and Conforto are probably going to be in the starting lineup. I'll be interested to see the lineup today. If they do, then Dave Roberts has opened himself up for fans who are very passionate to be very pissed about that. And there's nobody on earth that should defend that because that situation, you're not putting your best lineup out there. Okay, Rumar Spencer scored 1 run in games 1 and 2. Got to score more than that to avoid a sweep, no doubt. Eric Flores, thank you so much for joining. Michael Carrillo, this team never gives Yamamoto run support. You are 1,000% correct. And I'll say this, I don't care. Whatever run support Yamamoto gets, whether it's 1, 0, or whatever, he has to match. It doesn't matter. We're in a position to where Yamamoto has to match. If he gets 0 runs, then Yamamoto is getting a 10-year, whatever the contract is, the multi-millions. He's getting paid to win this game, whatever it takes. If you're not getting run support, then Yamamoto, he's hired to be an ace. He needs to string zeros himself. That's what I would say to that. Eric Flores, they don't have anyone else right now. I think reinforcements are coming. Shelly Lawrence, we need to come up with hitting in the first. Hey, there's a good point. Come out and score early. Get it to a 3 or 4 run lead. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Change our approach at the plate. Great comment there, Shelly Lawrence. That is another example of why the Dodgers Dawgs baseball talk is the best, not the biggest. Great job, Shelly. Eric Flores, I want to see first pitch strikes from Yamamoto. There you go. Wow. Eric Flores, first pitch strikes from Yamamoto. Another example of how awesome this chat is. This is absolutely so much fun. Great job there with that comment, Eric Flores. Hey, Michael Carrillo, Yamamoto needs to use fastballs up in the zone. Absolutely. Because then if you're throwing your fastball up in the zone, then you can start your splitter at that same tunnel spot, and then the splitter can tumble and not end up necessarily in the dirt, and it'll look like what's called a ball to strike concept longer. It will look like a strike longer to the hitters, and then because of that, he'll get more swing and miss. That's a great comment there, Michael Carrillo, 100%. So Matty Man 5 Dodge, Freeland at third, Miggy at second, Call and left. That's the best lineup, okay? Dave, if you're watching, Andrew Friedman, Billy Gasparino, who I got to sit with last weekend, this isn't me throwing anybody under the bus. This isn't Matty Man 5 Dodge throwing anybody under the bus. This isn't us even necessarily making a criticism. This is us making a correct, 100% true statement, okay? Freeland at third, Miggy Rowe at second, Alex Call in left field. How can you argue with that? How? Again, if you're Dave, if you're anybody that has anything to do with putting that lineup together, how can you argue with that? What is there even to argue? So just do it and keep doing it until it doesn't work. And then if it's not working, then make another slight adjustment. But right now, Alex Call left, Miggy Rowe at second, Alex Friedman at third. This isn't rocket science. Put that lineup out there, and even if, okay, so like Matty Man 5 Dodge, who's an awesome baseball fan, knows a shit ton of baseball, 100%. So if you put Alex Call in left field, Miggy Rowe at second, and Alex Freeland at third, and the Dodgers lose, Matty Man 5 Dodge is, and Dave doesn't do something stupid throughout the game. Matty Man 5 Dodge is not happy the Dodgers lost, but he's not mad at anybody. I mean, you go home going, well, damn, we did everything we could. We put the right lineup out there. We put ourselves in the best positions to have success. It just didn't freaking happen. But whenever you're not putting the right guys in the lineup, you're not putting guys in the lineup that had big days the day before, and this is in a stretch where your offense hasn't been good, that's where the real frustration comes in, and there's no way to defend it. That's where it gets really frustrating. So just all we ask, just put the right freaking guys in the lineup and then let the chips fall. Hey, if it's not meant to be in 2025, it's not meant to be. It's just not. This is why we haven't had a repeat in 25 years. But at least put your best foot forward in terms of putting the best players out there. And hey, the best players might change every day. Alex Freeland might go cold. Buddy Kennedy might get hot. Alex Call might get cold. Michael Conforto might get hot. So the best players, that list of players might change every day. But go with the who's hot and who's not. Hey, Rumar Spencer, Yamamoto needs to be sharp today, consistent from the start. Shelly Lawrence, absolutely no Kennedy. We need Freeland and Rojas in the game. Again, why can we all see this? Why is it this hard to put Miguel Rojas at second, Alex Freeland at third, and Alex Call left? Why is this hard? Okay? Don't make this harder or more complicated than it is. This is a simple equation. Shelly Lawrence does not want to lose today's game, but if you put that lineup out there and the Dodgers lose, at least Shelly will be able to go, you know what? They had the right guys out there. They did everything they could. They just didn't win. This team just isn't very good right now. You're not necessarily upset with anybody. You're just upset about the fact that you don't like losing. So let's do it. Hey, 808 Shizaw. Yama needs to give them an opportunity to let the team get the lead. Great point. Get the lead first. Yamamoto, String about 3 or 4 zeros and let the Dodgers figure out a way to score a run and get the lead. That is a great point. Boy, this chat today is absolutely phenomenal. If you are not a part of this chat, call all your friends, get on the social media. They are missing out because this chat is absolutely awesome. Awesome chat. Ela Shiva, I hope Ohtani's bat does some things today. And Smitty, if he's in the lineup, Smitty, man, he's got to get going. Smith has to play. This is the biggest game of the year. He has to play, yeah. I understand what you're saying, Ela Shiva, that he's been struggling. So, is this the time to get Dalton Rushing out there? This game's too big. This game literally, I'm not going to say must win because if you don't win, what do you say now? Like, as a coach, you go, hey, this is a must win. We have to win this game. And then you go into your locker room and you lose. What do you tell your guys? Okay, the season's over now because I said it was a must win. So I'm not going to say it's a must win. This is not one of 162. This game could be the difference in the way that your season goes. It's literally that big. It absolutely is. I'm not going to be convinced differently. So all hands on deck. The best players have to be in the lineup today, 100%. Anthony DeSantis, there's something to be said for players seeing the ball well when they're seeing the ball well. Yeah, you're hot. It looks like a beach ball. Sometimes it looks like an aspirin. Sometimes it looks like a beach ball coming up there. That is exactly right. Hey, Cole, I agree. You play your best regardless of matchups at 100%. Michael Carrillo, Dodgers have definitely given away games with their lineups. Don't give away the game because of who you put in the lineup. I mean, that's my frustration. Hey, Dave won't do the Michael, not saying he shouldn't, though. I'm not exactly sure what that means. You might type that again, Matty Man 5. Didn't quite understand that. Hey, Dodgers should promote Charles Davalon already. He's way too good for low A. I don't disagree with that ever. I'm not sure that they will. Pumper for you. Yeah, I tend to get fired up and start preaching, so I hope it's not annoying, but it just kind of is who I am, and I can't change, so there you go. Hey, on the TikTok side, whatchamacallit, thank you so much for joining. Some issues with pitching zones. Hitters discipline also are on pro scouting. And whatchamacallit also said it ain't like the Padres players are playing up in their bubble gum cards. Warm day in San Diego. Petco plays real small on warm days. If Mookie ain't hitting, says L. Kevin 11, move him down the lineup. I have no special treatments. If you watch Dodgers, think of me what you want. Think I'm an asshole. Think I'm stupid. Think I'm a dumbass. You can think of me what you want. But one thing that everybody has to agree about the way that I see things is that I hate the country club system. Just because a guy makes more money or just because he's on a top prospects list or whatever it is, put the guys in the spots that have earned it. It has to be about the merit system. And that is exactly what L. Kevin 11 is talking about. Hey, Mookie Betts is awesome. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. But he's not hitting, so move his ass down. Don't give him special treatment. Do to him what you would do to everybody else that is hitting like he has, because you have to put the team first. That is a great point. Hey, Rumar Spencer, if you look at the rest of our schedule, it's pretty favorable. That's what I'm saying. Win today. You're in first place because you have the tiebreaker. Get things sorted out with the rest of the schedule, and I think if you win today, you're going to be favored to win the NL West. So let's put the pieces back together with a favorable schedule after we win today, and let's build momentum based off of that. So that is a great point, Rumar. Bloodhound, Dodgers punt more games than anyone. Yeah, I agree. Smith and Pages has been low-key struggling. Pages is a guy that goes on when I say streaky, that doesn't mean like he goes 4 games hot, 4 games cold. He goes on long hot streaks, like 2-month long hot streaks, and then he goes on long cold streaks, like month, 2 long cold streaks. So when he gets cold, just expect it to last about 2 months. That's exactly how Andy Pages has always been. On the vice versa, when Andy Pages gets hot, expect it to last about a month or 2. As far as Will Smith, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That one worries me to death. And that one worries me because there is a track record of Will Smith not making it to the finish line, playing the type of offense that he's capable because he wears down. And because you gave away the 9-game lead, you haven't been able to implement Dalton Rushing the way that you wanted to. And because you haven't been able to implement Dalton Rushing the way that you wanted to, he's had a terrible role in terms of development. You can't develop properly in the role that Dalton Rushing's been giving. And because of that, these games matter too much, and you can't just turn this thing over to Dalton Rushing as much as I love him. Okay? And so it's a big quandary. Yes, Will Smith is wearing down, but it's at a part of the season to where you can't afford to take him out. It just kind of is what it is. He needs to get past it and start hitting, and he would be the first one to tell you that. Chris Taylor and Austin Barnes were the vibes of the team. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think any of this stems back to releasing either one of them. I think I would probably push back against that. I think they were important. I think they were good parts of the clubhouse. I don't think they really had a needle move either way for as far as the team struggling or not struggling. Preller beat Friedman at the trade deadline. We mentioned that earlier. You're seeing one team who is very aggressive, one that isn't. I think you would have to admit the Padres have won that so far. Okay, Michael Conforto. Smith isn't in the lineup, and Conforto is in again. Okay, so Michael just saw the lineup just a second ago. So criticize away. I have no problems with that. It is what it is. Yeah, in my opinion, you're putting something out there that you're trying to just continue to say that it's going to get figured out at some point. You're not putting out there what you've actually seen with your own eyes. To be fair, Smith has been terrible, but yeah, Conforto. So I'm of the opinion Will Smith has to be in the lineup. He's not. It is what it is. I trust Dalton Rushing. So let's go. Hey, Rook, let's go. We need you. This is why you got called up. We need you to go out and be Dalton Rushing. We need you to relax. We need you to just go out there and do what you can. Put together 3 or 4 quality at-bats. Doesn't mean Will Smith won't pinch hit somewhere along the way. Okay? So just go do it, man. Dalton's capable. Let's go, man. I mean, hey, that one, honestly, I said it a minute ago. I can understand taking Will Smith out because he has been struggling. And I trust Dalton Rushing, although he hasn't been very good. So let's just leave it with this. Let's go, Rook. Do what Alex Freeland's been doing. Give us that shot of espresso. Let's go, man. You can do this. Smith is 0 for the Padres' last 5 games, so there is a defense to not playing Will Smith today. I will say that. Matty Man 5 Dodgers getting harder to root for this team when they make the lineup decisions they do. Michael Conforto is the big one for me. Conforto is starting and Rushing. Yeah, we just hit on the Dalton Rushing thing. Hey, Roberts is good at cooling off our hitter. Yeah, 100%, Chuck. I don't have any defense. I mean, Alex Call almost hits for the cycle, and we've just put a dam over that momentum. Alex Freeland states he's finally getting comfortable. Put a dam on it. Don't play him. That kind of deal, right? I mean, so having said that, okay, let me back up. I went on and on and on about the who's hot, who's not. You got to play that. So having said that, guess who's not hot? Will Smith. So I can't sit here and say, hey, play who's hot and who's not, and then bitch about the fact that Will Smith's not in the lineup. You're trying to get somebody else hot. You're trying something else to replace a guy who has not been hot. So I can't say, hey, play who's hot and who's not. Play that game and then bitch about the fact that Dave is doing that with Will Smith. So I got no problems with the Will Smith deal. The Michael Conforto deal, that's an entirely different conversation, though. Hey, Ryan R. started watching this season with a set full of hair. Now I'm Mookie bald. Yeah, no doubt about that. It will pull your hair. If you're not pulling it out, it'll just fall out due to stress. And we are just about down to the bottom. Hey, Bruce Davis, when is the next call-in show? I actually put the link in this, and the link is in this chat. Nobody has called in to this point, and I'm getting ready to go to the Down on the Farm. So there will not be any call-ins for the rest of this show, but I did put the link in the chat for today. Hey, Doug Davis, I don't recognize that name either if this is your first time. And also, Talkin' Chit, thank you so much for joining. If this is your first time joining, thank you so much for these wonderful comments and joining the show today. I hope you continue to come back every time that we do a live show. So, Doug Davis, I think you just retracted the comment that I was getting ready to read. Okay, I think Doug Davis actually was one that was leaving comments that was not appropriate. And I think actually Talkin' Chit is a Padres fan, if I'm reading this properly. Either Shiva, that Doug Davis guy, is a Yankee fan, but all over the Dodgers show trolling. I will eliminate him if I see him again. So Padres take the lead for good today, says Mott, the Padre. And then Julius Caesar, rushing needs at bats. He's not a platoon catcher. Total mismanagement of his talent. It's kind of an arrogant approach, as whatchamacallit, with the lineups. Conforto is hitting under the Mendoza line. Why is he still in the lineup? I don't know, Rob. Those are all comments from the TikTok site. I can't defend that. Hey, BL Boyd, the next talking head on a Dodger podcast, who says, don't panic. This isn't the lineup we will see in October. Needs to be kicked square in the nuts. Our 1 for 5 has been shit too. I can't push back. I don't do that. Now, I'm not panicked in terms of I think this team can still turn it around. But damn it, put the right guys in the lineup. I mean, that's the only way you can continue. You can start building momentum and then keep it from there. Okay? Yes, BW, I agree that you're replacing Will Smith for someone who's cold too, but I'll say this. You're at least trying something. It's like, let's try something else. So that tells you Dave Roberts doesn't have an answer, but it's like, let's just try something else, and I got to give him credit for that. So that's where I'm at on that. Yeah, just ignore Doug Davis. If he says something stupid and I don't get to it, ignore that. Just, hey, BL Boyd, I am a new listener to Casey. He is the best by far. Well, thank you so much for saying that, BL Boyd. That is absolutely an awesome thing to say. So what I want to do now, I've got through all the comments. I think I spilled all my venom. I've gotten through all that. I hope it wasn't too much venom. I hope it wasn't too negative. I also hope it wasn't just too cheerleaderish either. I hope you enjoyed that part of it. So we are going to get to the down on the farm now, and we are going to cover everything that's been happening on the farm. And the first thing I want to start with was Hyesung Kim, and I think he's probably going to rehab through next week. That's the information I have. Now, don't quote me on that, because things can change, especially whenever you're as desperate as the Dodgers are to get things, some things squared around. So Hyesung Kim had a base hit last night. He's had a hit in all 3 games that he has played so far for the Dodgers. Now, he did only go 1 for 5, and he did strike out last night, but he is 4 for 11 so far since returning, and he has a hit. I said 3 games. He has a hit in all 4 games. The Dodgers need this guy. They need Kike. They need Max Muncy. They need all hands on deck. Kike has been playing well for AAA Oklahoma. I didn't check in on last night's box. I don't think he got a hit last night, but Hyesung Kim, I like the fact that he's hitting the ball on the ground, and he is doing things to use his speed to actually get on base so he can get over, steal some bases, and get in. So there's a look at Hyesung Kim, and hopefully he is. I don't think it's going to be next week, but maybe it could be, so don't quote me on that. But Hyesung Kim, the Dodgers desperately need him. Another guy that is a possibility, Bobby Miller, went 2 innings last night. He cruised through his first inning, and then in the second inning, he gave up a single on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, then a stolen base, then he walked a guy, then he got pulled. Antonio Knowles came in and gave up a double. So Bobby Miller gave up 2 runs last night in 2 innings of relief, and it happened when he was responsible for the runners that he left on base, but he was not the one that gave up the hit that got the 2 runs scored. So last night, an inning and 2/3 for Bobby Miller, 1 hit, 2 runs, 2 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Bobby Miller sat 98.8, which that 98 is what I like about Bobby Miller. I think that's when he's at his best, because I think that gives him an extra inch or 2 of movement, which he needs. I think his fastball gets a little bit too Iron Mike-ish, if you will, because it's straight over the top, and it's something that you can see very well. So I think the 98 range is better than the straight 101 because it has more movement. And then also I think he controls it better, so he can actually throw it to locations in the strike zone that are less likely to get ambushed. So I like the fact that he sat 98 last night with both his 4-seam and his sinker. Of course, you never can tell which one it is, because between his 4-seam and sinker, the tags on Baseball Savant are wrong more than they're right. So don't ever trust those with Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller also landed. He threw 8 changeups, landed 4 of them. He got 3 swings on his changeup and 1 miss. So, and 1 whiff, I should say. So 8 changeups. He landed 4 of them, 3 swings, 1 whiff on those 3 swings. And coming into last night, he did give up the 2 runs in 1 2/3 innings. but he had been scoreless in 8 outings in a row. So Bobby Miller had been pitching really, really well coming into last night. Last night was a little bit of a detour off the road, although if he would have done what he had been doing in his recent outing and just thrown the 1 inning, he cruised through his first inning. So if you want to make a takeaway of, hey, if you just throw Bobby Miller in 1 inning of relief, last night he would have looked perfect because he made his first inning that he was in last night look very, very, very simple. I'm with you, Anthony DeSantis. I'm good with Dalton rushing in the lineup because Will Smith has been reeling, and hey, why not? Let's try something else. Who you're seeing right here is a very talented left-hander. He is not going to make the Major League Club this year, but I think he has a chance to next year, and this is Robinson Ortiz. Robinson threw a scoreless inning for AAA Oklahoma City last night. I don't know why I put that one pitch that he threw to the screen in his highlights video. I usually don't do that. But he has been pitching. He just got promoted, Robinson Ortiz did, to AAA Oklahoma City 4 games ago, and he's given up runs in 2 of his 4 outings, but he was just absolutely smoking hot with AA Tulsa, and he's having a really good year. Robinson Ortiz, a 2.81 ERA, 48 innings. His average against is just 2.03, and he has 64 strikeouts in 48 innings. So Robinson Ortiz has been pitching very well. Congratulations to him for getting promoted to AAA, which tells me that the Dodgers will be giving him very heavy consideration starting next year to make the Major League roster and see if he can be a part of that bullpen, because that slider is absolutely devastating for him. And when he's in the zone, and healthy, that's the big thing for him. He has to stay healthy. He is a very, very, very good player. So the next guy I wanted to cover is Chris Newell. Hey, we've been talking about Chris Newell for a while and how he strikes out too much, he swings and misses too much, and he has not been able to take that treasure trove of tools that he has and turn it into results on the field. Well, that all has changed. Chris Newell has been absolutely awesome. Hey, maybe the light bulb went off for him, and all of a sudden, he's shortened up his stroke. He's gone the other way like that. He's let the ball get deeper, and maybe all of that has just kind of been a revelation for him, that he's re-identified the type of hitter that he's okay with being like, hey, I'm okay with hitting that ball down the left field line. I don't have to hit home runs to be happy with my game. So Chris Newell had 3 hits for AA Tulsa, 3 RBIs. He scored 3 times, raised his average to 247, which isn't great, but he was like under the Mendoza line till June. So he's raised his batting average almost 50 points in the last month and a half or so. OPS, again, is raising. It was in the basement for the longest time. So 792 is certainly not what Chris Newell is capable of, but his OPS in the last month and a half has been over 1,000, and his WRC plus is 120. So Chris Newell has been 20% above league average, and Newell is hitting 405 so far in August, OPS 1153. So Chris Newell has been absolutely tearing it up for AA Tulsa. So it's super exciting to see him starting to round into form and become the type of offensive player that we've always known he is capable of being. So continuing with the outfield and very talented outfielders, who we're getting ready to see next is Eduardo Quintero. Let's get him on the board here. This is actually Eduardo Quintero throwing the ball as I look for last night's video. This is him at Rancho. He actually has, I want to show you his throwing arm. He actually has been promoted to Great Lakes, and this is him from last night. I love that. Stay inside the ball, young man. Hit the inside part of the ball and be okay with just dumping base hits into the big part of the field. This has been somewhat of a struggle for Quintero at the high Great Lakes level. That's not abnormal. Nothing to worry about. He was in the leadoff spot last night, played center field, so you can't get much more high profile than that. Quintero has hits in 3 games in a row. He has hits in 4 of his last 5, so I wanted to give you an update on Eduardo Quintero at the high A Great Lakes level. And another, staying in the very talented outfield pool of players in the system for the Dodgers, Zaire Hope. Zaire Hope, hey, if you look at his stats, this has been a rough month for Zaire Hope. He had 2 hits last night, which was great. And Hope is hitting 275 on the year, OPS 838. And Hope has hits in 5 of his last 6 games. But he's hitting 186 so far in August, which That happens to everybody. And when it happened to Dalton Rushing, it happened to Will Smith. Having these months like this that Zaire Hope is having, it happens to everybody. Which actually, I'm glad to see this, because I want to see throughout the process in the minor leagues, how do guys as talented as Zaire Hope, are they able to bounce back from their rough patches? So we will see how Zaire Hope comes back from this month. Last night was a good bounce back, and so we know exactly how talented Zaire Hope is. So we'll see how he finishes this season. Moving on, talking about Zaire Hope, and then staying in the extremely talented pool of outfielders, a young man that the Dodgers just added this draft. This is Charles Davalon, and this is Mark Watkins at the Rancho game in the dugout for the Quakes, covering the Quakes for Dodgers Daily. Thank you so much to Mark Watkins. What a great deal it is that he got this video coverage here. Charles Davalon last night, 4 hits for Rancho, 4 RBIs. He scored a run, and Charles Davalon simply is too good to be in single A right now. He is overpowering single A pitching. He's hitting .579 OPS, 1461 in his last 4 games of the Quakes. And here's a good look from the open face at a couple of his hits. Again, video courtesy of Mark Watkins. And hey, Mark actually was able to interview Davalon, so I'm super excited to be looking for that interview with Charles Davalon as the week goes on. And now, out of the outfield, but continuing with the theme of some of the most highly rated prospects in all the entire organization, Eduardo Quintero. This is a good look at him right here, hitting a home run. This is actually not from last night. Let me actually give me just a second, because I want to get to the live video that Mark took of him last night. If I actually can find that. If not, it'll be too clunky, but give me just a second to continue looking for video of Eduardo Quintero here, because I want to show you the live video that Mark got from him last night. So Eduardo Quintero had a really good night last night. I'm sorry, not Eduardo Quintero, Emil Morales. That's why I'm not finding it here. I was in Eduardo Quintero's file here. So let me get to Emil Morales. That's actually who you're seeing. No, it's out. Now you're looking at it. I'm screwing this whole thing up. So you're looking at Eduardo Quintero. I'm trying to get to Emil Morales. Sometimes when I do these things live, it can get kind of clunky like this, but I think I've got it now. So let's see if I can find his live video. And of course, yeah, here we go. All right, finally. This is Emil Morales. Again, video from Mark Watkins, who is in the dugout. Look at that smooth power from Emil Morales. And I can tell you, Mark has talked to John Shoemaker, the manager, several different times. And Shoe will tell you that Morales is absolutely a leader. Could not be more excited about Emil Morales. He had 2 hits last night, 3 RBIs for Rancho, raised his average to 337, OPS 1013, and Morales is hitting 379 so far in August. He has hits in 8 games in a row, and he has 6 multi-hit games in his last 10. So I hope you're enjoying the live video of Emil Morales, because he is absolutely killing it for Rancho. And Mark actually talked to him too, and Mark is going to interview him next time he goes to Rancho. So we still have a whole bunch of people in the lobby leaving comments. Let me get back to him. Julius Caesar on the TikTok side, do you think the Dodgers have to tweak their evaluation on what they value on pitching? If they want pitchers to stay healthy, I like I said with Bobby Miller, I like the 98 with movement and control a lot better than the 103 that's very straight and not controlled as well. So I would have to say yes on that deal there. And then let me do this. Let me actually get back to let me start a new meeting here. And then let me do this. Bruce, if you're still in the lobby, you can come on and hop into the show, and we can get your thoughts on here. Let me post this link one last time, and we can take a call or two if we need. Emil has been crushing. It says no name, no doubt. Douglas Anderson, Brad, I thought, okay, yeah. Cole said, yeah, we're talking back and forth in the chat. So there's the chat. I'm going to give you, wow, Bobby Miller, 8 outings, no runs. Good stuff. No doubt. Anthony DeSantis. Going to give you a minute or two. Enrique says, wouldn't it be crazy if the only run the Dodgers get is a Freeland home run? Yeah, that would be Alvin RC, Casey got to go. Dodgers say no to the sweep. I certainly hope so. Douglas Anderson says Smith isn't even hitting 186. He's hitting 086. Ooh, but he's the best catcher in the league. Dalton needs more ABs. I would agree with that. Hey, Bruce Davis again. The lobby is open for a minute or two. Not going to stay on for much longer because I got a lot of things to do today before we get ready for the game. So I actually think that's going to do it. I wanted to make sure and open that back up for the last time in case anybody wanted to log in. So, hey, what a wonderful crowd we had today. My goodness, for a Sunday morning that was completely unplanned. I hope you enjoyed the show. You Dodgers dogs, thank you so much. For those of you like Matty Mann and Michael that haven't been in the lobby for a while, thank you so much for coming back and joining the show. For some of you that haven't been here before, please keep coming back. And for those of you season ticket holders that come back to every show, I can't tell you how much you are appreciated. This has been just so much fun, and it's always a lot of fun when we get a big lobby and a wonderful chat about Dodgers baseball. So thank you so much. And one last reminder, it's a great day to be a Dodger. Beat the Padres. Huge game today.